Okay, so the second one I wanted to share was a game called Prodigy. And I know I've kind of talked about this in a previous post, but it's honestly so cool. And we just learned about it this year from another one of our students. And so we've kind of been wanting to spread the word because the things that Prodigy does is super helpful, not only for the students and the teachers, as well as parents. So the intended audience for this is teachers, parents, and students because the students have fun playing this review math game. They get placed into this kind of world and they get to play these games, and in order to advance they have to successfully answer math questions, and it's based on the ones that the teachers assign. And it's also the intended audience of the teachers because they are getting additional practice in extension to whatever homework or classroom instruction they are having, and as well as parents. So if parents are needing extra classroom actually math help at home over the summer, they can set up their own Prodigy account and their own students account and have them practice over the summer. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like from a student or from the teacher's perspective. I don't teach math anymore, but I do have a co-teacher that I work very closely with, and she teaches math, and so I have learned all about Prodigy from her and my students this past year. So when you create an account, you add your students. So if I click here to add them, you can click yes that they already have accounts and they can log into your classroom, or if your students have not made accounts before, then they would need new accounts. So if I click that they already have accounts, again, it gives you another code, and the students, when they log in, they can enter the code and get into your classroom. So when they're all in your classroom, it says your students' data will appear here. So you will see your students right here. So if I go over here to students, again, I can add them and I can kind of see data on my students. They also give you a planner. So if I was kind of getting this set up, and I remember that our students always have a hard time with ratios. So I assigned ratios, and you can create assignments, create a plan. You can assign state assessment prep, which is usually what we use this for. And then it also gives you reports. So you can see individual student usage. You can see the weekly activity. You can see your students' progress. You can see the coverage of the curriculum, and then topic coverage. So again, this is a really great tool for math teachers. When you go sign up, you choose what grade, and then you choose which activity you want to align. So if I go over again to planner, I can create assignment, and then you select a skill. So I choose, obviously we follow the Common Core, so I needed to choose the Common Core, and then I chose 6th grade because that's what we teach, but it works for 1st through 8th. So these are all the things that you can select. So when you are doing state assessment prep, you go through and you click all the things that you know for sure is going to be covered, and they give you a lot of options, which is awesome because the more you click, the more variety it gives to the students when they're playing. So I'm just going to click some things, and when I click next, I select which students I want, and then I select my date range, and then I click create. So that's pretty cool. The standards that are covered in the Prodigy Math game are the ISTE T2B and T2C, and those read that we are developing technology-enriched learning for environments that enable all students to pursue their individual curiosities and become active participants in setting their own educational goals, managing their own learning, and assessing their own progress. The students in the game can see who is the top leader in the classroom, and they can compete against them to try and get that. So the reason I chose this standard is because Prodigy is great about students managing their own goals and their learning and their own progress, and it's kind of self-paced based on the student. So if I had a student that was really struggling with 3D shapes, I could assign more 3D shape practice for them than maybe multiplication of fractions because maybe they're good in that subject. So this is great for individualizing. The second one was C, and that one was being able to customize and personalize learning activities. And again, that's kind of what I was just addressing, that you can customize and personalize per student. So I didn't create a student account because I'm not a student, but I kind of Googled Prodigy Game student point of view. And so when I click on that, this is kind of what it looks like. So when they come and they're going and playing games, these are, it pops up with a question. In order to move on, that's what they have to do is they have to correctly answer. And then the game analyzes how well they're doing and how well they're progressing. And if they're not doing well on these fraction questions, it's going to show them more of things that are similar until they master it. So it's really cool, and you can kind of click through and see. I know they're kind of blurry, but it kind of gives you a perspective of what the students are doing, and they create their own characters and stuff. So it's honestly one of the cooler games that we have found. And I say game, but really, it is a learning opportunity and it's a review activity, and it is something that a lot of people don't know about. So I just wanted to share about that because it does work for grades 1 through 8, and you get to individualize for each student. So again, click around, make an account, make a teacher account. They don't send you a ton of emails wanting you to sign up for different stuff or pay them. It's free forever is what their homepage says. So click around this summer, see if this would be good for your students. I encourage you to use it this year, at least for review for state assessment. So